Everything was going fine and dandy till 2 weeks ago when the team I love, the New York Islanders, absolutely collapsed. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Gtss. I'm your host, Jason Adams, and what is practically becoming a hockey show, which I probably should just rename it at this point. We're here to rant. I'm here to rant because my favorite team, the New York Islanders, have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. It was an absolute disaster. From 3 weeks ago, we were buying at the deadline for Braden Shen, and then now we are sitting 91 points, picking 13th overall, and not having any sort of future direction like we had just 8 months ago. The New York Islanders got extremely lucky last year, won the draft lottery, and drafted what looks like a franchise staple, top three, maybe even the best defenseman in the league at this rate. This guy put up 60 points in his rookie season. He tied Brian Leetch for the rookie goal record. It is so frustrating. So frustrating to watch this because it's been a disaster. And this season has been so fun. I mean, from overtime winners, we were perfect there. We had incredible performances by our rookie defenseman, our all-star, superstar, best goalie in the league. There have been so many bright spots, and it was 80% of it. I would say up to game like 60. This season has been one of the most fun regular seasons I have ever had the privilege of watching as an Islanders fan because we don't get a lot of those. A lot of them are very boring and a lot of miserable. You bring in this 18-year-old kid who rejuvenates the lineup, who rejuvenates this entire squad, and now we're talking about what do you do going forward? You don't have a top pick, which is something I was harping on at the beginning of the season. When they lost 3 games in a row to begin the year, I was like, hooray, we're going to get another top 5 pick, maybe even a top 3 pick. We're going to pick Stembar, McKenna, or Verhoff, and it was going to go great. We're going to have a superstar forward, a superstar defenseman, and the future is going to be bright. The Islanders are going to be competitive, one of those teams for the next 15, 20 years, finally. Like, I'm going to have consistent winning. I'm going to see nothing but success. No. And we saw that. We saw it was ahead of schedule. They won. They were second place in the division up until game like 60, and then they play the Pittsburgh Penguins. And that's when it all starts. You go up 3-1 in the second period to the Pittsburgh Penguins, a team that is right behind you, or I think you might have been chasing them at the time. Either way, you're 1 point or 2 points ahead of them. You win. You've pretty much locked yourself up for a very comfortable, obviously not comfortable, but like a very cleaner way to the top. They don't. They lose. It's miserable. And then you play Buffalo the next day. Okay. You lost. You gave up 5 goals in the second period after taking you gave up 6 or 5 goals you gave up in the second period. Okay. You lost 7-3 or 8-3. That's rough. Let's turn it around. You play Buffalo. You tie it late. It's like 6 minutes left. You give up a goal. Carson Soucy plays the worst defense, which that guy might be a terrorist. I don't know. He plays like absolute garbage, and we gave up a pick for him. So you're talking about that. He plays the worst team's ever seen. We lose with like 3 minutes left. We don't get even a point there. Then you lose to the no, not the Blackhawks. I believe the Flyers. You play the Flyers next. Okay, you get a chance to turn it around. The Flyers have come out of nowhere. They're now chasing you down. Not just the Columbus Blue Jackets anymore. This is now the Flyers have jumped up the standings. All right, fine. You can finally turn it around. You can get comfortable there. You beat the Flyers, like much brighter outlook. Lose 4-1 with one of the worst first periods I've ever seen. Wow, what is going on right now? What do you do? And next thing you know, you're playing Carolina the next day. Okay, you're screwed. And then they didn't even try. I mean, the shots were 40-8 in the third period. I have never seen anything like it. This team was contending for the playoffs. And all of a sudden we're talking about missing entirely and not even coming close. Excuse me. I'm like losing my voice at this point. I've been screaming about this for hours. I gave up after the Ottawa game, and I'll get to that because I'm breaking down the whole schedule here. 4-game losing streak was fired. I've been wanting that for a while. I don't think he's a good head coach. So I'm completely okay with that. You bring in Pete DeBoer, who I think is a good head coach. Should have maybe been a little longer ago. Should have probably been fired this offseason because he's not a good head coach. And then, all right, hopefully you get that new coach bump. You turn it around. Everybody loses perfectly and you win. Okay, you're 2 points out of a playoff spot. Same amount of games played. Just hope the Flyers lose and you got to win out. Oh, sorry. There's 4 games left. Okay. All you got to do is win out. Flyers lose, you win. 3 games to go. You're 2 points out. You play the Ottawa Senators, who you are also chasing. If you beat the Senators in regulation, you're 1 point behind them with the same amount of games played too, and you're tied with the Flyers. Huge. This is a huge game. 3-0 shutout, and it's an absolute disaster, and I have no words. I'm sitting there like it is. First of all, the AC in these buildings don't work. My God, I got to complain about that. It's so hot. I'm burning up, and I'm already pissed off. So it's not helping there. And then you're selling me 3-0 shutout flat. Season's over. Philly wins. Capitals win. They're now in this too. Columbus wins. Detroit loses. They're in the same spot as us, but they even have a brighter future because they have more young players, even though they don't have the superstar. It is just what happened. And then you just get shut out. You lose 4-1 to the Canadiens on home ice. The season's over. You're eliminated from the playoffs. This team looked so good. Not good. Like, they were getting carried by goaltending and an 18-year-old. That's unsustainable for sure. Like, they have so much dead weight. But instead of thinking about it realistically, like our new GM, Matthew Darche, did, he decided, I'm going to bring in $6 million cap hit Andre Palat, Carson Soucy, who is a pine cone, and Braden Shen, who is 34 with a 6.5 cap hit, who's putting up 23 points or something like that for the next 3 years. It has been. I'm flabbergasted what he did. We gave up a first-round pick and a third-round pick and a prospect for Braden Shen, which, to be fair, he's been really good. And he's not been really good, but he's been good. So I'll give Darche credit there. But he's not good defensively, which was apparently what he's supposed to do. So you run into the problem here now where you are looking at a window where you have an 18-year-old, a 21-year-old, like second-line center who looked like he could be just a really good player. Like, we're talking 70, 80-point player in the future in Callum Ritchie. And then you have Victor Eklund come over from the SHL, and he looks great in Bridgeport. Oh, my gosh, these young guys are actually developing. They look good. And the hype is actually starting to come into this core of there's a chance this team could be good in a few years. But you put on so much dead weight. Scott Mayfield has been playing for the New York Islanders, which feels like since I was born. Like, this guy just has never left the team. He got drafted in like 2013. No, 2011. Has been playing for them since like 2014. Has been consistently getting up and down. Got a consistent roster spot under Trotz. Was solid, a third pairing defenseman. Got paid for 7 years at $3 million. 7 years for a third pairing. And he also got a no trade clause, by the way. I completely forgot about that. This contract situation has been left into an absolute mess due to Lou Lamoriello. It is not even funny to talk about how many players have no trade clauses, no move clauses, and you've just been screwed over. It went from all sunshine and rainbows to like just the worst outlook I've ever seen. If they made the playoffs, it still wouldn't have been great because you're playing Pittsburgh first round, which I think you could beat, but then you're playing Carolina again. And I don't want to see my team get their butt kicks by Carolina again. It's so annoying. I cannot watch it anymore, and I'm going to keep watching it. So what happens next year? DeBoer's the head coach. You can't really move a lot of these anchor contracts. Palat, nope. Who's going to want Andre Palat? Palat, please retire. I know there's $6 million, and you really want that because, it's $6 million. I'd want that too. But retire. Go away. I don't want you on my team anymore. Genuinely domestic terrorist. I like Carson Soucy, free agent. Can't wait for him to be gone. Like, I'll ship him away at this point. Put him on a boat. Get him out of here. Long Island coastal thing. Get him out. Braden Shen. He's going to be here for a little while. Perfectly fine. He sucks defensively. He's going to get us a higher draft pick in 2027. Landon Dupont, Alexei Joseph, welcome to the team. And then you have guys like they signed Peugeot to a contract extension. This guy has been here for like 6 years. Let him go. He's 33. I want young players playing. I'm pissing me off at this point. Stop playing people. Let people go. Like somebody said this a while ago, and it's the cul-de-sac crew. They never get rid of anybody. They keep the team's the same for 10 years. They're like, they refuse to get rid of people. And even when they do, it's like Brock Nelson was the first time they got rid of somebody that was a part of this cul-de-sac crew. And it works out. You get a 21-year-old, a 20-year-old, like A- prospect, like a guy who can really help your franchise for the future. And he's doing that right now. And then you bring in a first round pick as well. You bring in a third round pick as well. Oh, wait, no. They also got another pick in that. It might have been like a 6th round pick or something. But you bring in these picks, and it's, wow, this is such a great trade. If they can keep this going, and then you have a great draft, you trade Noah Dobson because he wanted $10 million, go away. And then he went to Montreal, which, have fun in that tax haven. Like, you get 2 first-round picks there. You make 2 great picks in Kayshawn Aitchison and Victor Eklund. And you win the lottery. You make Matthew Schaefer. There is such, and you have Cole Iserman too, and the prospect pool is building. Take a year back. Let's suck. Let's get a top 5 pick. And I was preaching this at the beginning of the year. Get a top 5 pick, build for the future, take your time. Proceeds to outperform expectations, which I will give them credit. But Darsh should have realized. Me and many other fans realized Sorokin has having one of the best seasons we've ever seen by a goalie. And it might not look like it on paper because his save percentage isn't great, but he is facing the most high danger chances in the league consistently, and he's carrying this team. There was a game where we shut out the Edmonton Oilers, and they had 30 more shots than us, and they had 20 more high danger chances than us. It was crazy, and it took the Leon Draisaitl hitting the post to even win that game. It was Sorokin and Schaefer carrying this team for months, and the fans realized that. The fans knew that. That's why they didn't want to buy. Our GM, the guy who controls the roster on the ice, doesn't realize that. The guy who's getting paid to do what the fans were doing, So he adds a 34, instead of adding Jordan Kyrou or Robert Thomas or Connor Garland, who was given up for a 2nd and 3rd round pick, he calls up the Blues and says, I want Braden Shen. The guy who's 34, has 24 points, makes $6.5 million in the cap hit. It drives me insane. Insane. What has happened with this roster, and now we're looking at it in offseason where who goes? Who do you get rid of? Lee's gone. Captain, bye. I don't care. I love you, Lee. Great Islander. 500, 600 points. 4th or 3rd all-time in goals. Awesome, man. Bye. It was great Islander. Great knowing you. Go chase a cup, buddy. Carson Soucy, like I said, ship him off a boat. Get him off the island. He might never play in the NHL. He might have to go to Europe or something because this guy's not touching NHL ice again. Genuinely a horrible defenseman. That's Mark Gatcomb and Kyle McLean. 4th liners, they're gone. Realistically speaking, who cares? That's not going to really crazy affect the team. They weren't the problem. Then you get into the problem of everybody else is under contract. Oh, sorry, Tony DeAngelo too, which, by the way, can't believe I'm saying this. The season was destroyed when Tony DeAngelo went down with an injury. I wanted to kill Tony DeAngelo 4 months ago with how bad he was. Bravo, man. You completely changed my perception of you. Crazy stuff there. It is that is it. Those are the 5 players that are free agents. Everybody else, and David Rittich. No Save Dave. Somebody said that. That was a great nickname. I know it's a Big Save Dave, but this is such a weird time because it went from, wow, this team's future looks great. If they don't do anything stupid, then they did something stupid. This outlook for a competitive team in 2 to 3 years looks great. And hey, if they make the playoffs, that's fine. That's cool too. Just don't do anything stupid. They did something stupid. They're not going to make the playoffs. It becomes now a question of who do you trade? Who do you buy out? Because Scott Mayfield's bought out 100%. Well, actually, I don't know 100%. I can't say. We've never got rid of anybody for some reason. But Palat is either Palat's going to be bought out or Scott Mayfield's going to be bought out. I forgot to mention Pierre Engvall's here. He's making 3.5 for 4 years as well after this. Gosh, I hate my team. It's just, who do you get rid of? I brought up those 2 guys with buyouts. Nobody's going to want to trade for them. But let's look at trade candidates specifically. I'm looking at, I saw somebody, one of the people I follow on Islanders Twitter said, Adam Pelech. Guy's 31 years old, has a 16-team no-trade clause, but you can get rid of him. And he's only making $5.8 million, but he's a very good defensive defenseman. That is the perfect material for a young up-and-coming team or a contending team would want. A guy in his prime or teetering off the later prime is a defensive whiz, has always been, consistent for years, doesn't score, but you're not paying Adam Pelech to score. You're paying him to keep the puck out of the net. And he does that for the Islanders every year. This guy can fetch you a very good deal on the market. You got to take the chance here. This is it. You can get a first round pick and maybe a prospect for Adam Pelech in this offseason, and you take that chance any day. You do not do anything stupid. Like, you don't trade this year's first or any other first or any prospect for any 28 through 32-year-old player. You don't touch that range unless it's like Brady Tkachuk, which I don't think he's even going to be traded. You don't take a chance on anything. You trade as many assets as you can away, and you start the retool. Because if you don't, the fan base is going to lose even more hope, especially after a disastrous season like this. And hey, if they jump up in the lottery again and get a Verhoff, a Chase Reed, even if a Stembar or McKenna fall to 3, which they won't, which I have a mock draft, by the way. We're doing a mock draft later. I need to know what this team is going to, like, what direction do they want to go in? I really hope it's the selling market. I hope they try to trade players. I hope they build for the future more, because I want to be like the Montreal Canadiens. Their team's going to be so good for so long, and they're so young, and I'm so jealous. It's ridiculous. Demidov. I'm going to run through the Canadiens. I was not even planning on this. Demidov, 20 years old or 21, either way, like just young guy, and he's already a 60-point player. Suzuki, they're like captain. He's like 26. Caulfield, 25. Slavkovsky, 22. Lane Hudson, 22. Noah Dobson's 26, former Islander. Oliver Kapanen, 22. This team is going, and they have prospects. Zarovsky, Alexander Zarovsky is in the AHL. Michael Hage is is a future second line center. This team has so many young players, and they have built so well for the future. And I'll throw another team on there. The Sharks. These are the teams I inspire to be. The Sharks, Canadians, even the Ducks, maybe. I'd throw in the Blackhawks now. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at those 3. But the Sharks, Macklin Celebrini. You got your Macklin Celebrini. You got a superstar. You got Matthew Schaefer. That's not the problem. But you got Will Smith, Quentin Musty, Igor Chernyshov, Sam Dickinson, William Eklund, Yaskar Askarov. Like, they have all these teams have young cores that are consistently filtering in. Michael Misa, you have young cores filtering in constantly. And now you're running into the issue where you're not doing that. You have your now number one superstar. Don't try to build now. Build when he's like 22, 23, and then can be competitive for the rest of his career. That's what the Capitals did. They sucked for the first year, 2, 3 of Ovechkin. I need to make sure of this. I'm looking up the Capitals stats. Hockey reference. The Capitals and the Penguins both build a core around these young players. Crosby was good when he was like 21. He won the cup when he was like 22. Ovechkin. I know his first year got cut off by the whole lockout, but, 2005, 2006, his first season. The Capitals were... I want to look at the Capitals, They were 29, 41, and 70, and I don't know what pick they got, but that's a bad team. Next year, 28, 40, and 14, bad team. 43, 31, and 8. They built a young team around the player, around their superstar, something you didn't do. And if you don't plan to turn that around, it looks like Schaefer is going to be leaving sooner than I thought. I cannot believe, I don't know what the plan is, what the goal is, but you better figure it out because it's driving me insane. Figure it out, or I'm losing a lot of hope in this franchise if Darsh is still the GM next year and they don't pick a direction. Pick a direction. Please go the rebuilding, like the retooling, young guy way. But if you don't do this mushy middle. If somebody said the same day I said that, don't do this stupid thing where you sell me buy, but don't buy all the way. Like, don't pick the bad way or the good way. Take the blue pill or red pill at this point. Like, what an absolute joke. I think I need a break at this point. We'll be back with more after this, but God.
This is WIUR Radio.
Hi, this is Anthony Carlo, TV news reporter in New York City and proud alum. If you're looking for a career in media, Iona is the place to be. From internships to real-world experience, Iona's media program is unprecedented. Take it from an industry professional who made it in the biz.
Now back to WIUR, Iona University Radio.
Now that the Islanders are out of the playoffs and I don't have to worry about them, I think it's time we realistically look at the standings and just break down the playoff matchups that we'll see, because right now, most likely it won't change. If the Flyers win one game, they're in no matter what happens. If they get 2 points, if they lose 2 games in overtime, if they win a game, like that's all that matters. The Philadelphia Flyers are most likely going to be in. So I'm just assuming they're in. And then in the West, you have the Kings who have a game in hand on the Predators and are 1 point ahead of them. But I think we need to jump to playoff matchups right now, because we're looking at, first up, I think we should start with the East because it's pretty much mostly decided more than the West. So Buffalo right now is going to play, since they're in first, the Ottawa Senators. It's really unlucky that that's a first round matchup, because I think both of those teams, I think Ottawa is the most dangerous lower seed team. I'm not rooting for a Canadian team because we all hate Canada here, but I could really see Ottawa making an Eastern Conference final this year. Their team's really good, and if they just get average goaltending, which they've been not getting all year, this team's going to be a dangerous contender there. Boston plays, I got that wrong. Carolina, same thing applies though. Carolina would play Ottawa. That's the last thing I want if I'm Carolina. Ottawa's really good. I'm going to keep spewing that. Right now, Buffalo does have the same amount of games played as Tampa and Montreal, but right now they have 106 points, 80 games played. They would play the Boston Bruins. Again, I don't think Boston's that good, so I like Buffalo in that matchup, even though they don't have the playoff experience because it's Buffalo and they haven't made the playoffs in 11 years. But they have Tage Thompson, Rasmus Dahlin, Alex Tuck. I don't know if Josh Norris is exactly back. And then you got Noah Ostlund, Zach Benson, just Owen Power, who hasn't been that great, but I still like these guys. Matthias Samuelson's been really good this year. There's a lot of guys who I really like on this Buffalo squad that I could really see just keeping this team up. And then you got guys like Logan Stanley in the depth. But I like this team a lot better than David Pastrnak, Morgan Geekie, Charlie McAvoy, and Jeremy Swayman. The only thing I like more on Boston side is goaltending, because you're talking about Devin Levi, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, and Alex Lyon while you're talking about Jeremy Swayman, which is a much more stable and secure presence in that net. Jump into the third place in the Metro. We have the Philadelphia Flyers playing the Pittsburgh Penguins. Penguins are going to wipe the floor. I don't think Flyers are that good. I think they just got really lucky because Dan Vladar came out of nowhere and was really good. Do I think the Penguins are that good? Not really. Do I still like the Penguins in that matchup? Yes. And then jumping to the next one, we have Montreal Canadiens playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Canadiens are still really young, and Tampa's getting older, and they haven't had the most greatest recent track record since the Cup win in 22. Since the Cup final appearance in 22, I should say. They've lost first round. To be fair, 2 of them were to the Cup winning Panthers. One of them was to the Leafs, which a little rough there. But other than that, you like that matchup there. But, did they lose to the... No, they lost Leafs in 23, 23, 24 Panthers, 25 Panthers. This year, I like them more than the Canadiens, so I'm going to say they beat the Canadiens there. And then let's look at the West, because this is going to be much more easier. Colorado wipes the floor with anybody who makes it. LA or Predators, so I'm not even going to discuss that. If the LA Kings, with their minus 21 goal differential, 19 overtime losses, if they even win a game against the Colorado Avalanche, all right, Colorado, you got to disband the franchise at that rate. The first place specific team, the Vegas Golden Knights, with the same amount of points as the Islanders, play the Utah Mammoth, who are 1 point behind them. who play in the same division, and they would be tied with the Oilers, who have qualified for the playoffs. I'm not even going to get started on playoff formatting right now. It's bad. I really like Utah. I think Vegas is just getting that new coach bump right now. I'm very comfortable to say I think the Utah Mammoth will win that matchup. I am a very big Utah Mammoth fan. I was a big Mammoth fan at the beginning of the year. I thought they were going to make the playoffs. I thought they were going to be competing for a top 3 spot in their division. Obviously, just the Minnesota, Dallas, Colorado is just too good, but I'm not worried there. The only thing I'm worried about that series, the goaltending is a little bit questionable, even though Karim Vejmelka has the most wins in the National Hockey League, so I'm leaning more towards the Utah side. Then we get to the most unfair matchup, which you could talk about for so long. The Dallas Stars play the Minnesota Wild in the first round. The most undeserving first-round matchup I think I've ever seen. Dallas has 108 points. They're like second or third in the league. Minnesota has 102. They're like fifth in the league. The Minnesota Wild, who traded for Quinn Hughes, by the way, will be going on the road to Dallas for the first round. It is wild, ridiculous, and wild that teams like this are punished for being good. Because, if I'm Minnesota, I really wish I fell out of that spot and got to play Vegas in the first round. Because Vegas is a whole lot worse than Dallas. Incredibly worse. It is baffling how nothing is going to change about the playoff format, because Gary Bettman's stubborn and doesn't want to do anything about it. Because he'd have to admit he's wrong. He knows he's wrong, but he's not going to admit that he was wrong. And the league is going to punish. The Islanders are punished for that, by the way. I'm going to complain about that. The Islanders, who, yes, if they went to a 3-2-1 system, would only get 2 points for the 10 overtime wins. Guess what? Pittsburgh, who's got 16 of them, wouldn't be getting 1 point every game. I saw them lose 8 games in a shootout, by the way. So, and they would have gotten how many points? Is 3 regulation points? They have 29. The Flyers have 26. Flyers they would be competing for the first overall pick in the 3-2-1 system. They just got 12 overtime. Oh, that's 12 loser points right there. That's 6 wins. The Flyers gained 6 wins. The Islanders got 4. 2.5. 2.5 wins from loser points. Oh, I remember that one season where they got 13 or 15 or something. Does not matter. It's not this year. I'm going to complain about it. The standings, the league is taking a huge hit, which I didn't even talk about the last matchup, which I'll get to in a minute, because I'm talking about the playoff format. The playoff format's a joke. They need to change it. They'll never change it, but they need to, because it's disgusting how teams are punished for being good. And then you move on. You got the Oilers and Ducks, really hoping for the Ducks to win. It'd be really funny to see McDavid lose in the first round, especially after the whole Olympics lollygagging. Same thing. McKinnon really needs this. I'm going to jump off topic. McKinnon really got to win the cup. If he loses, and if he doesn't win the cup this year, what a bad year for your legacy, dude. The gold medal game, missing that wide open net. It's going to be so brutal. But yeah, I'm rooting for the, moving on to the Oilers and Ducks. I'm really rooting for the Ducks. I hope McDavid's legacy gets tainted even more, because this guy had that whole Olympics. He's good. The 4 Nations. Suck it. It's so annoying. But that's the realistic, those are most likely the first round matchups, unless the Predators jump the Kings and somehow, in some way, the Flyers don't win one of their next 2. It's cool because there are a bunch of teams that I have not personally seen in the playoffs that much. I wasn't old enough for the Senators, to really remember. Obviously, I know that was 2017. I was 10. So I'll give myself some slack there. But you have the Canadians, who I don't remember a lot, even though they've been a lot more, but I just don't remember them that much because they've been bad more recently when I've become more of a sports fan. Buffalo has never been in the playoffs when I've been conscious. I was 3 the last time they made it. 2011. Wait. Yeah, I would be 3. I'm struggling on math. Yeah, no, I'd be 3. What am I talking about? Carolina's boring. Pittsburgh's boring. Bruins are boring. Senators are boring. But like, I wasn't old enough for the early Flyers in the 2010 to like 2014 teams. I watched them in 2020 because they played the Islanders, but that's it. So like, that's a cool thing right there. Utah is a cool thing. The Ducks, I didn't really watch a lot, even though it was like 2017, same thing. I just wasn't a big sports fan. The Kings, I've seen them. I watched their cup win, but like, it's more cool because Buffalo's made it. And same thing with like Ottawa, who I've only seen like a few times really. But like, other than that, it's really boring to me because Tampa, Carolina, I'm still, even though my team sucks and I hate it and I'm miserable, I'm still very excited for the playoffs. It's always a fun time, especially just as watching it as a casual fan. Remember last year watching that Jets Blues game 7, craziest game I've ever seen. Tie the game with like 1.1 second left in a game 7 and then win it in double overtime. Sickest game I've ever watched on television for a hockey game. But I'm very excited for the playoffs, as everyone should be. Best sport in the world, best time in the world for a sports fan. NBA, NHL playoffs, but more importantly, the NHL playoffs. And I just cannot wait to see. And now the big segment of the show coming up after this. We're going to be doing a mock draft of the NHL top 15 picks, my personal picks. I've done a lot of studying for the draft because that was my original plan for this offseason. Cannot wait to share that information with you.
Untouchable, unstoppable.
This is WIUR Sports Radio.
Hi, I'm Robbie Basil, president of WIUR Radio, and I hope you're enjoying today's show. Have you ever wanted to call the biggest games, the biggest moments for the biggest names for Iona Athletics? Then the newly founded WIUR Sports Radio is the place to be. Launched in January of 2025, our goal is to try and get broadcasters here at Iona an opportunity to learn, succeed, and get a chance to be on air. From getting to call the big moments at the hack.
Dinkins trying to go to the rack. Denied. Yafet Mundi with
to seeing the crack of the bat at City Park.
the line drive into left field, around third, and it kicks away. The Gales are going to win it in 10.
We make those moments happen on our brand new WIUR Sports Radio platform on Mixer. If you're interested, feel free to reach out to me via email or to the rest of my e-board to join the club. We are WIUR Sports Radio, the new home of Iona Athletics. Now, back to the show on WIUR, Iona University Radio.
So for this mock draft, I'm going to start it off pretty simple. I got the Tankathon up here. I did a simulated draft, and it just gave me the Vancouver first, Chicago. No jumps in the lottery, so it made it much simpler. I totally didn't sim because the Rangers kept winning the lottery, and I don't want that to happen. I think we just start up with the first overall pick. It's easy. It's Gavin McKenna. I think if Vancouver wins the lottery, I think no matter who wins it, if they need a forward, they're taking McKenna. Now, the only argument I would say is Stenberg has been a little more consistent, had a really good World Juniors and won the gold. Like, he's been just consistently, he had one of the best ESHL seasons we've ever seen. And like top 5, I think, all time in point leaders for the SHL season. So like, that's a talking point right there. McKenna did have like 56 points. Let me just make sure for that. Gavin McKenna, I think it was 56 points in 35. No, 51 points in 35 games. So not a Celebrini. Like if I look at Celebrini's stats, Macklin Celebrini had 64 points in 38 games. So we're talking about, I think, a bigger level here of Celebrini. And he's also younger than McKenna. McKenna's a December birthday. Celebrini was a June birthday. So like, that's really the only comparable player I can compare there. But I think McKenna is still the best forward in the draft. I'm leaning more towards Stenberg, though. I think if I was a GM, I would take Stenberg over McKenna. I think Stenberg is a more physically adaptable player. He can play the big body more. McKenna is a smaller player. He's actually 6 foot, but he's a skinny player, which would kind of lead to a small player. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. But McKenna, I would go still 1. then obviously I'm talking about Stenbark so much. The Chicago Blackhawks would select Ivar Stenborg to be that running mate with Connor Bedard for years to come. Which, if I am a Hawks fan, I am sitting there very excited because either way, you're getting your superstar forward, making up for that not picking Ivan Demidov, which they should have picked. I really do think that Gavin McKenna or Ivar Stenberg. If I'm a Hawks fan, I'm rooting for McKenna because I think McKenna with Bedard would be such a better fit than Stenbar because I think Stenbar is also Stenbar's a center, not a winger. McKenna and Celebrini on this, not Celebrini, Bedard on the same line. Electric stuff. Great playmaker with the hopefully franchise centerman there. That's how I see it going. But right now, I have them taking Stenbar. And then the Rags at number 3, Rangers, I have them taking Verhoff. I was between him and Chase Reed, but I think Verhoff is younger, bigger build. He's like 6'4", 6'5". He's had 20 points in 30 something NCAA games at a okay college, I believe, not like a Penn State or anything. I think it was it Michigan? Keaton Verhoff. North Dakota had 20 points in 36 games. He is a 6'4", 212 pounds. I am 100% taking Keaton Verhoff if I'm the Rangers compared to Chase Reed, even though I do love Chase Reed. But like, you got to go with Keaton Verhoff. I think you probably would have wished for a forward because, Rangers, New York, you want that all-star superstar forward because like Panarin was so good for so long. And then jumping to the Flames at 4, I have not Chase Reed. I have Caleb Malhotra because they need a center. You look at their recent drafts. Even though the recent drafts, they got Zane Parekh in the top rounds. They have they have more defensive prospects, specifically outlined by Zane Parekh. So I'm leaning more towards the defensive side there. But Caleb Malhotra is that number 1 center that you're hopefully getting. Maybe a number 2 at the same time. Like I'm leaning towards 2, but could see him becoming a number 1 center. But you have not Caleb Malhotra. Cole Reshny came up, had a really good year last year. Not in the NHL, had a really good year in the OHL. You had David Wittenbach, came out of nowhere. Long Island native, by the way. Had an incredible season, led the college league in like scoring or something at like Quinnipiac or so. Very good season there. And then at 5, I have the Leafs taking Chase Reed. They need a puck-moving defenseman. Morgan Riley's a pine cone now, and he's making $9 million for the next 4 years. I hate the Leafs, but like this is a great pick for them. Because the Flames got it. They can't go for another defenseman. They need a forward. They're not taking Chase Reed or Verhoff. Even if I am a best player available guy, I would still take the possessional value in the Flames. And the same thing goes with the Leafs. Seattle at 6. They might take another center. They might take Tynan Lawrence with how this team drafts. They take center every draft. You get Matty Beniers in 2021, Shane Wright in 2022, Berkeley Canton in 2023. Oh, wait, no, Berkeley Canton was 2024. They were good in 2023. I forgot about that. You have Matty Beniers in 21, Shane Wright in 22, Berkeley Canton in 24, and then Jake O'Brien at 25 in 2025. So a very long history of taking consistent centers at the top. So I have them taking Carson Karels. Had a great year this year. I don't know. I was signed out. Had a great year this year in the where's Tankathon? Where does he play? I think he's in the WHL. Yeah, WHL. He had 73 points in 58 games. A very good season for a young defenseman. I don't know exactly how old he is. I don't know if he's on the older side. Carson Karels. He's a June birthday. So, like, this is a guy you 100% take. I swear, if they take another center, if they take Tynan Lawrence, I'm going to be kind of pissed. And then at 7 is the Panthers. Hopefully, to God, they don't jump up. I'd be really pissed if they did. I got signed out. Ugh. Excuse me, folks. Give me a second here. It signed me out of my notes. That's very annoying. I had my whole mock draft lined up and it kicks me out. They don't like my picks, apparently. All right, sorry about that. I don't know why it just signs you out sometimes. But right after that, at the Cardinals Caros, I have the Panthers taking Ethan Belchich. I think they have a center core. Lundell, Barkov, Bennett. Right there, you have your top three. I think they go with the safer pick in Ethan Belchich. I think you have that big power forward left wing. You need that presence there. You are a physical team. You're known for being a physical team. I could also see them trading this pick if they get it back, because I think you can trade picks even if you already traded them, but you get them back for protection. Not exactly sure there, but I am 100% taking Ethan Belchich if I'm the Panthers in this situation. You want that physical presence. You want to keep this identity you have for being that pesky physical team. So if I'm the Panthers picking 7, I'm picking Ethan Belchich. And then the Blues, I'm taking Albert Smith, who had a great World Juniors and a very solid OHL season. This guy put up, what was it again? Right here. Let me pull it up. He only had 13 points in Liga, 38 games, but had an incredible tournament for, I believe it was Latvia. Not exactly sure, but this guy looked calm. This guy just looked great. I'm looking mostly at the World Juniors. The Blues, looking at positional value, they have a bunch of young forwards. They have obviously established guys like Jordan Kyrou, who's like 28, 27. Robert Thomas is 26. But then you look at the young core there. Otto Stenberg, Daleb Dvorsky, Jimmy Snuggerud. Like, you have a comfortable forward core where, unless you're getting a top-end guy like a McKenna or a Stenberg, I really see them taking a defenseman here. So I'm going to go with Albert Smith. I think that's I'm going to go with Albert Smith. And then to 9, the San Jose Sharks. They have a abundant of young forward talent. I've already mentioned it. You got Igor Chernyshov, Quentin Musty, Will Smith, Will Macklin Celebrini. Like, you have a comfortable forward core already kind of established here. So I have them taking a defenseman. I have them taking Ryan Lynn, which I know is a little more of a reach. He's more in the range of like the 15 to 13 range. But I think that's a positional need. They just need the position. They have these forward. They have their strong. They just need to add veterans now instead of having Dmitry Orlov. They need young guys. They need younger defensemen. They don't need more young forwards. They're stacked there. And then at 10, I have the Jets taking Viggo Bork. Viggo Bork is a very interesting situation because this guy is a undersized, very skilled forward, which we've seen has not worked out a lot, but also has worked out in many cases. Like, I'm thinking of Lane Hudson. The guy's having an incredible, he's like 5'8", 5'7", and he's getting absolutely disrespected. He fell in the second round, plays incredible for the Canadians. How long is his body going to hold up? Doesn't matter. Lane Hudson's so good. He's completely shot the Canadians into contention right now. Absolutely love that. But Viggo Bork is an interesting case because he had a very shoddy season in Liga, and then had a very good World Juniors, and then looked really comfortable in Liga, and then shot his way back up the draft boards. But teams are probably still going to pass on him because of his size. But I don't see that as anything important. I have him going 10 to the Jets. I think that is a smart way to handle that. Moving on to the Devils, who are a stacked decor. It makes no sense how this team is bad. I don't have them taking a defenseman. I have them taking Adam Novotny out of let me get it real quick. Adam Novotny out of Peterborough. He didn't have a very great season, 65 points and 58 OHL games, which isn't incredible, but I really don't see the Devils needing any defensive help. Seamus Casey, Simone Nemec, Jonas Siegenthaler, Dougie Hamilton if he stays, which he probably won't, but like, you got that. You have, I'm forgetting one more, Brett Pesce. You have so many defensemen. Very comfortable there. I'm not taking another defenseman here. I have them taking Adam Novotny at number 14. And then moving on to the Predators, I have them taking Nikita Klepov, or whatever how do you say it. Not great with you get used to Russian names, but you never get used to them. Right now, he had a very, very good season in the OHL. I think he's more of an offensive based forward, but he is a June birthday, 2008, had 97 points in 67 OHL games. He's already committed to Michigan State. Like, so is Chase Reed. Like, this guy is a very offensive capable forward. I would see this team, like, if I'm the Predators, you got to take a swing. You took Brady Martin last year, which was a huge shock to everyone at 5th overall, especially when Porter Martone, James Hagans was on the board. It was a complete shock to see this guy. And keep in mind, I was really hoping they never took Hagans. Like, this was me the entire time. The process was just nobody take Hagans, or trade down with us. Didn't happen, but they were one of the teams that I was like so shocked they didn't take Hagans. It made no sense at the time, and it still makes no sense to me now. And then my next pick, the Islanders, who I kind of extended this to 15. I would have just done the top 10, but I wanted the Islanders to be in it because I have to talk about them still. I have them taking Daxton Rudolph. He had 78 points in 68 WHL games, right-hand defenseman for Prince Albert. I haven't looked at a lot of tape. I haven't watched a lot of film of him, but he's a right-handed D. He meets the need. He is a very talented player. Even though I'm bigger, I've seen more Ryan Lynn film, and I would like him to fall. I could really see it going either way for either Daxton Rudolph or Ryan Lynn. And then for 14th overall, I have the Jackets taking Ilya Morozov, who is projected right now at 16th overall. So just a little, but he had 20 points, 36 NCAA games for Miami. But he's committed to Ohio. He's committed to Miami, Ohio. I don't know what that means. I have actually never heard of that college. The Miami Redhawks, I guess. But guy had 20 points in how many games? 20 points. Wait, I might have been a lot lower. It's not loading. Mock draft. Daxton, he had 20 points in 36 innings game. So I was right about that. We're getting to the prospect range where I haven't seen a lot of clips of them, but I would still go with him just on the eye test. He's a 20, like just looking at Tankathon, he's got 20 points, projectable NHLer compared to what you can get at this point. But I would have him going 14th. And then finally, 15th overall to the St. Louis Blues, I believe, thanks to the Detroit Red Wings' horrible trading management. I have them taking Xavier Villanueva. I don't know how to exactly say it, but this guy had 38 points in 37 QMJHL games, which for a defenseman is pretty strong. I have not seen it again or reached the range where I haven't seen a lot of film since the Islanders are out of the playoffs. I'm going more into depth and prospects probably again now. So I'm excited to watch or just look at it, and we'll see where we go from here. But I think I'm going to cap this episode off by saying it has been it was such a fun season to watch, but it has come down in disastrous downfall. And I'm very sad to see the Islanders season go out, but I'm hopeful that this offseason brings major changes. I've been excited every offseason for that. I thought last offseason was going to be major changes. It didn't happen. Hopefully this is the one. I'm going to pray this was the one at this point. But that is going to do it for me. This was probably the most ranty episode I've gotten. Just pure hatred for what this team is heading for right now, what my favorite team is heading for right now, and what the NHL is doing. But I hope to see you all next time on the next episode of GTSS.